Host. Folks, we are going to have a great program for you today. How's everybody doing? I trust you're all doing fine. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning, Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. And of course, good morning to the world. We are actually just one of the many ships sailing around the world. Anyhow, good morning to the control room populated with geniuses. How are my favorite geniuses doing this morning?
Just one little genius here today, Alberto.
Oh, so Howard is out doing some moolah again. Anyhow, great hearing you, my dear brother.
Yeah,
How's it
yeah.
going?
It's
What's the
good.
word of
It's
the
good.
day?
Well, okay. We didn't have an ID, so this is 90.1 KPFT FM. Yeah, well, the word is today. Been thinking about this for a while. I'm thinking America just might need to revive the hippie movement. I mean, society has a pretty hard edge on it these days. Bring back the beatnik, bring back the flower child, the sit-in, back to land movement. The hippies changed a lot of things. Excuse me. Uh, the hippies, the students would protest against war, polluting the environment. They helped the world change for the better. So I want to see big sunflowers stuffed in the barrels of the automatic weapons of death, love beads, peace signs, paisley shirts, tie dye, and poetry. The number one thing the hippies were against was war and world domination. So peace out, drop out, turn on, tune in, and love your mother. Hippies can change the world.
I love it. I love that. I'm from the days when going to the University of Texas in Austin, when we had this phrase called "Keep Austin Weird," right? Uh, and there's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
lot.
Now it's keep Austin stoned.
Well, in the world like this, I mean, maybe being stoned is what's required. I don't know. But anyway, we had
Hippies
that
sure liked
phrase.
it.
I know, but we were those were changing times, and people were optimistic, and we were gonna change the world, and we were gonna make things a lot better. And for a while, we started to do it. We got the university to and several to divest from South Africa during the apartheid days. I mean, we did so much then because again, we were optimistic and we felt like we could make things change. And by God, even when Reagan got elected, well, actually, I started college, UT, after Reagan got elected, but it was still in the ethos that you could actually get something accomplished, right? That you could actually do things. And
Make a difference.
yeah, we were making a difference. Now you speak to young people, they throw their hands up in the air and as if they don't matter, as if they don't think things can change, that things are fixed right now. And in a lot of ways, I think the boomer generation and the older X generation has sort of taken, first of all, in the case of the boomers, in my humble opinion, given too much away to lies and misinformation, and then the older Gen X's sort of pick up some of the mantra, and then the kids turn around and see a lot of that and think they can't make a difference. But you know what? That is one of the things that we're here for, to say no, 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 no. Just like we made a difference, some of us not the best kind of difference, but just like we made a difference, it is on you now, our millennial brothers and sisters, or Gen Z brothers and sisters, or the other gen that's coming. I forgot what they call them. That's coming up. It's for you guys to make a difference. And when I see some of the young people that are hitting Congress now, like Maxwell from uh, from from Florida, or I see the young woman that I met in Philadelphia from, I think she's representing Pennsylvania from Philadelphia. A lot of young people saying, no, 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 we can make a difference. We can make a difference. Sort of reinvigorating that feeling. It's like, okay, we kind of skipped a generation, but we have these folks now that are out there. Yesterday, we had, why I'm so damn tired this morning is we had the big Democratic County Executive Committee meeting. But before that meeting, a youngster that's always on our program, a young millennial that's always on our program, Dan Cohen, he got over 100 precinct chairs together to come together and have a news conference to tell the district attorney Kim Ogg, you are not going to run this. You're not going to be allowed to stay in that office and run vendettas against individuals, against people that you don't like, against those that you feel or do it for what many would say is your personal benefit in the attempt to get votes from those who otherwise would not vote for you. And I saw the plethora of the group of people out there supporting that grass action movement, and I felt the kind of feeling that came over was that feeling I felt when I was on the West Mall at the University of Texas, marching for the divestiture of our state dollars from South Africa, or the divestiture of our monies from institutions that were doing well by people. I saw that again. I saw that again last night when we sat there and watched people of all ages, of all creeds, of all races, of all religious backgrounds, organized by a young man that says we can come together and do something. It was great. In fact, I have a few of those interviews from some of the protagonists to play today. But it was great seeing that. Yesterday it was like, you know what? You can make a difference. So today's show, it's titled. Oh, so anyway, before I get into that, thank you for bringing that up, Jack, because I think
You're welcome.
a lot of times people have to know intrinsically. People have to know from within their gut that they can still make a difference. And I think a lot of what's happening in America today, a lot of the reasons people are disillusioned today is we have a particular sect in this country, a particular type of leadership in this country, think tanks in this country that just about tells people things are just the way they are and you can't make a difference. And we are here to tell them that collectively, we can't make a difference individually. Individually, you can create the collective that makes the difference. You can't do it alone, but with collectively, doing what, let's say, Brother Cohen did last night by bringing a group of people from around Harris County, the entire county, together, centralized on an issue of importance, you can still do that. Those are the things that we see. One of the things that we have a lot of our leadership, a lot of our think tanks trying to do is to create this friction between identities. They say don't play identity politics, but they make sure that identities are there. But they don't want identity politics. But they make sure that identities reveal outcomes. They make sure that identities reveals or get what some identities get. Some identities they use it as a weapon. Race, uh, gender, class. So they use all these things as weapons and we succumb to it. And the idea, man, is we don't have to. If we have strong leadership that believe in the collective, we can actually do better. And that's what I see in a lot of our young activists in Harris County and throughout the country. Maxwell, Gary, and many others all around the country taking it back and awakening. I was in the grocery store. I'm on a little rant here, but this just kind of came because of what you said, Jack. I was in a grocery store and I came across a good friend, and I hadn't seen the friend in a long time. And he sort of said, kind of threw his hands up in the air, and he's like, "Hey, Bert, I'm scared of where the country is going." I mean, we don't talk anymore. We don't talk to each other anymore. Everybody's fighting against each other. And I'm like, that's what they want. And that reaction that you had where you said, I don't know, and throw your hands up and say, you feel like just getting the hell out of the country, that's how they want you to feel. Because if you feel that way, they win. If you feel that way, you feel impotent. You feel like you can't make a difference. And if they have you feeling that way, then you can't make a difference. And I'm here to tell everybody we can actually make a difference. The collective can. What is a collective? Us working together. What is a collective? The unions working together. How do I know it's working? When would you have ever believed the auto union would have gotten the big three to succumb to the kind of deal? When would you have thought that the Writers Guild would succumb to the kind of results that they got? When would you have thought that all these things that are coming together right now, because people are finally saying, I am going to work together to get this stuff done. It's important, folks, to understand deep from within your soul, deep from within your heart, deep, deep, that we can make a difference. And they're all fighting. They're all fighting to make sure you believe that you can't make a difference. And I want you to know that you can. Thank you, Jack, for opening the door for me to make that comment. All right,
You're most welcome.
let's go ahead and bring negative Nancy into the story. I'm going to bring her in before we start the program. Come on in, Nancy.
Well, I hate to disappoint you. I'm a guy.
Oh, why did he put negative Nancy? You are not Nancy, Mr. Mayor. Come on now.
I am negative Mayor McCheese, and don't you ever forget it.
No, well, no, I am not, brother. I love you, but you are not going to come and negativize what I just said, brother. Go ahead, talk to me.
I'm gonna try.
No,
I'm
you
gonna give
won't
it.
you won't succeed, but move on. Let me hear you, brother.
Okay. Well, that's a clue. Well, and I'm nodding my head back and forth like I've got Alzheimer's. That 1980, December of 1980. I think we all
Yes.
know what happened then.
Yes.
John Lennon got killed by some schmuck. And right around that time, Ronald Reagan got into the White House. Well, he got elected, and he
Yeah.
took over and started his reign in January of the following year, 1981. And I knew it was going to be bad, not just because Lennon got shot and killed, but the way CBS 60 Minutes, Andy Rooney propagandized Ronald Reagan. He showed Ronald Reagan bare-chested chopping wood, and we got to see Ronald Reagan's nasty, sagging chest while he was chopping wood. And I could not eat lasagna for a whole month after I saw that. And I knew things were not going to be good. And don't forget, this was around the time of AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Started college in 77, 78. And by 78, 80, I knew something was weird with a lot of the students at U of H. There was a lot of these gay students, male gay students, who looked like they were having these blotches on their skin and they'd look emaciated. And then we heard about AIDS. And 81, Reagan started his reign of terror. And every time you turned on the news, you saw images of what our military was doing down south of the border. And a lot of the music back then was from the Rolling Stones, and it was very negative, and it was really hard to keep a positive attitude during his reign without Lennon there and knowing what we knew about what our military was doing down there. And Reagan denies it later on, pretending to hide behind his early onset. And so he got a pass from the media. And the AIDS activists, they were activated for sure. And thank God that they took something negative and they tried to do a lot of positivity, like at KPFT. You remember the gay programming. excellent programming and music. I found that inspirational as a straight guy.
Okay,
That
I want wait, Johnny. I want to, you spoke to when you called Jack. I don't know. Jack wrote on the screen negative Nancy as if you said that. Well, I'm gonna positivize what you just said because it is true what you just said about Reagan. First of all, he completely kept his people from ever mentioning the words AIDS after it was discovered. He's one of the people. He's not much different than Trump in trying to hide well, in that case it wasn't a pandemic, but it was an epidemic. He tried to hide it thinking it'll go away or people won't notice it, the same thing that Trump did with COVID. But the
right.
positive here is this. Before you come back, Johnny, let's remember these were the days that we had the quilts. These were the days where people stepped up. These were the days where they made a difference, and HIV took on a different flavor when the positive activists, well, rather, when the activists came and did a positive thing, and that's the optimism I'm talking about. That even in the dread of Reagan, that many hadn't seen yet, you saw the dread of Reagan, but how many people know what's going on the other side of our borders? Continue, my brother.
I felt it. I lived it. I tasted it. I was exposed to it. And if it wasn't for KPFT, that media influence, I don't know what I would have done. I might have gone postal. I might have done myself in. I'm quite serious. Independent left-wing media is a salvation. It's a salve. Make no mistake. And then when Reagan finally got done doing his damage, then we had Bill Clinton from '93, January of '93, and Bill Clinton. He didn't do much better, and he caused the AIDS activist community to rise up even more. You would think that Bill Clinton would have seen the era of the Reagan administration, but he turned out to be one of the best right-wing friendly presidents we had prior to Obama. I'm telling you, KPFT made a big difference in lots of people's lives. I can testify to that. I know I said I was going to be a negative Nancy, but I have to tell you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're not being all that negative, sir, because the truth of the matter is you're actually proving my point, but go ahead.
It's trying. And like I told you yesterday, all those conversations to 2 o'clock in the morning, that was the decade where I was in the fire department, and you would think that I would have had some kind of influence on some of the people there. And one of them, who was a sniper, a Marine sniper, Joe Foster, who's probably dead by now, he learned nothing from me. He had the same prejudices. They did not change. Now, that's not to say I'm trying to dissuade people listening to this conversation not to try. You have to try, because you never know what seed you plant, how it might manifest. Because what's the alternative? We do nothing?
Exactly
and let them
right.
have their way?
Exactly
no
right.
Way, Jose.
Okay, Mayor. Let me go ahead and continue with the program. But yes, I'm glad that you added that corollary when you said this guy that you were with, he never changed. But what do? Not try? No, we try. And the truth of the matter, a certain percentage will change. Hey, look, brother, I wrote a book called It's Worth It: How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relative Friends and Neighbors. And the reason why is I've seen with my own eyes after the seeds have been planted, so many people, and if I'm just one person, brother, you are another. Jack is another. All of us are planting seeds, and guess what? Some of it may land on a rock that doesn't allow growth, but some of it will land on soil that's just ready to go. Because remember, these people are are like the way they are because of how they were reared. Now, some of it has cauterized in their brains permanently, but
I love that.
Yeah, but
I love the way you describe that, cauterized in the brain. That is excellent, and I want to leave on a positive note.
I'm glad. Okay, thank you very much for calling in, my dear Mayor of Politics Done Right, Johnny.
I want to leave on a positive note and say that
Have a great day, brother. Peace.
And say that, hold on. Here's my positive note. Even though there was a Joe Foster who never changed his ways, one of my neighbors, remember I mentioned this a few weeks ago.
Yes, you did.
He told me that maybe you should run for office. He says, are you sure you're not a Republican?
Exactly. Before we go, that is the right answer that he gave you, because the way he is able to accept you is he just goes ahead and pay whatever you believe in that he thinks is good. He just pays Republican on that, and I'm fine with that. Have a great day, Brent, brother.
Rhetorical jujitsu. Maybe that's the clue.
There you go. Have a great day. Talk to you later, Johnny. Anyway, folks, you can give me a call to 713-526-5738. Again, the number is 713-526-5738. Please don't wait till the end of the show. Anyway, folks, I'm going to start the program with a sort of a sad story by Tiffany Rochelle. Her son got killed by cops, and this cop was heard saying he's not going to leave this neighborhood alive before he was shot up. And under the auspices of Kim Ogg and how she directed the grand jury, according to this woman, the police officer that she is strongly believes murdered her kid walked. And so it's a thing about how do you apply justice? Listen to her story, and then we'll take it on the other side.
I'm here with Tiffany Rochelle. She's here at the CEC meeting where we previously had the rally to oust Kim Ogg. Tell me a little bit about your story, Tiffany.
My name is Tiffany Rochelle, and I am the mother of Jalen Randall, 29 years old, who was murdered last year, April 27, 2022. They were going out into the neighborhood to do a warrant pursuit, and my son got into a vehicle with his friend, and they proceed on to leave the neighborhood. However, the undercover police got behind them. Once they got behind them, they went some ways, maybe in the community, maybe 20 miles per hour. And as they were going, Shane Privet was actually behind my son. He made the statement that he would not live to leave the neighborhood.
That's what the police, let's say who's Shane is. That's a police officer that was chasing your son.
Exactly.
And he said, and it's on camera, that your son will not see the end of that day.
He said that, this is word from word, he said that he will not live to leave the neighborhood.
Okay.
And once he did that, he made that statement, HPD came out of nowhere, did a pit maneuver. The car turned around. Now he's facing the officer, Shane Privet. On the passenger side of the undercover car, my son was on the passenger side of his friend's car. He gets out the car. My son gets out the car. Shane Privet gets out his car. My son, Jalen Randall, gets out of his car. He said, put your hands, before hands came out of his mouth, he shoots my son. And the bullet hit on the side of his neck. And after he shot his gun, he said, oh shit. Mm-hmm. So then they handcuffed my son. They dragged him across the sidewalk, and that way.
And tell me, why did that first of all, sorry to hear about your son. Now, what was Kim Ogg's role in this entire issue?
So probably about July. I'm not sure the month. I'm thinking July. They brought my son's case to the grand jury. And they no-actioned it at first. So
who no-actioned it? The grand jury under the tutelage of Kim Ogg.
Exactly. So then we were supposed to go directly. They were supposed to pick another jury that day. Mm-hmm. And when they came back to us and said, this is not the jury that we want to go by. So they stringed it along. And then I guess it was about 3 weeks ago, It went back to the grand jury where they no-billed it. So everything is on camera. Everything that happened to Jalen is on camera. Is wrongdoing.
And she refuses to pursue
refuses
the police
to indict
officers.
the police officer. So that's what we're fighting, and we're going to continue to fight until we get justice.
Well, Tiffany, sorry to hear about your son. Keep up the fight, because people like you, we need out there.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, so so that is something that affects regular Americans directly. And if you are, I hate to colorize it here, but it's a personal feeling for me as well. Why personally I want no interaction with police officers, period. Because I don't know when that officer has the bad day, and knowing that we are run by, first of all, by a district attorney who can pretty much ensure that police officers are not charged when they commit a crime. And again, remember, they are there to serve us. They took that job. They know that's a dangerous job, etc. They're compensated accordingly for that dangerous job, and they learn to take precautions. But when you do things that you put the lives of other people in jeopardy, look, I'm telling you, I'm a business owner, professional, all that good stuff. And anytime I'm in the presence of any cop, and I mean that, of any cop, because of the way I feel, they feel about many who have my hue, I make sure and try my utter best to stay out of that system, that domain. To some people, that sounds pretty darn strange. To some people, that sounds like an overreaction. To some people, that they can't even compute the gut feeling in people like me, and that's fine. It's not you who have to live that, right? But when you also have the power structure that's there that protects those who may actually harm you, you feel naked. And when you can do something about it, you try your utter best to do so. Well, yesterday as well, I interviewed one of the district attorneys that worked for Kemag, and this is what she had to say. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll get it on the other side.
All right, we're here with former Assistant District Attorney Lauren Byrd. Lauren, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Lauren, first of all, you were out here at a rally that's I don't want to say a rally against Kemag, but a rally for the people.
For change.
For change. You used to work for Kemag, correct?
Yes, sir.
First of all, tell us who Kemag is.
Kemag is the elected district attorney of Harris County, Texas. She was first elected, I believe she came in 2017. Yeah. And she won a second term that expires in 2025. So there will be an election in 2024.
How long did you work for her?
I started in the office in 2007. Kim came in 2017, and I worked there until May 2020. I left during the pandemic.
Why did you leave?
There are many reasons why I left, but a lot of people that work there, you just kind of keep your head down and you try and do the work and think that you're doing the right thing, even though when you see how the office is being run and the morale and all of that. But when you get confronted and you have to directly look at something that you know isn't a lie, when you know the right thing's not happening and you're directly involved in it, you have to take a stand. And I made the decision that I could no longer work there with the principles that I have and what I think the right thing to do is. That's incompatible with Kemag's principles and how she runs her office.
Now, you made a very important statement when you spoke, and it really touched me when you said that some of the things that she did could have not only a material impact and, of course, a financial impact on people who she knowingly forces a prosecution of. Tell us a little bit about that. Whether it's intentional, knowing that she's pursuing somebody for some sort of reason, or it's just that because she has run experience out of the office and doesn't properly train and doesn't properly use her resources, the longer that a case lasts,
the more effect it has on everybody involved. If you're accused of a crime and you can't post bond, you're going to be in jail until your case resolves. So the longer it takes to resolve your case, when you have a new prosecutor every single setting because they can't keep prosecutors, when you have people that are scared to make decisions and so they're not going to dismiss your case until push comes to shove and they have to set it for trial, that case lingers. If you're on bond, it doesn't make it easy to get a job. If you're charged with something that should have never even been charged, or maybe it was a misdemeanor that was overcharged into some like an aggravated assault or something like that, and you're on bond for a year, 2 years, how easy do you think it is to get a job when employers are asking? It's not. And it affects people's livelihoods. And what if you're the victim of one of those cases? And every time you go to court, or your case goes to court, there's a new prosecutor who doesn't know anything about the case. And you just don't know if it's going to be truly handled and given the attention that it needs because she can't keep staff to see a case through.
Now, I want to close. I want to make an important assessment of something that you said.
Sure.
You said too often it was easier to take a case to prosecution than to dismiss a case,
Absolutely.
even if that's what you believe was the right thing to do.
Yes.
Expand on that to close.
Kim Ogg, when she first started, talked all about in meetings with prosecutors and her chief prosecutors about how they were going to have discretion and they were actually going to be able to exercise their judgment, unlike prior administrations, in her opinion. The moment there was a news article or something reported where somebody called and complained about a disposition of a case, regardless of whether it was the right thing or not, she had a knee-jerk reaction because what matters more to her is her public perception and what people think of her in the office than what actually happens. And so she started making it harder and harder for me as a prosecutor to make the decision of what I know is the right thing. Now, person, and then this person needs to go run it by this person. To the point where a significant number of cases have to go to Kim Ogg for personal approval, which it's impossible to even get a meeting with her. She's the elected district attorney. She's out and about and, out of town, out doing things, you have to trust the people that you hire, that you put in these positions. If they are scared to make decisions, then bad things can happen. If it's easier for you to just reset a case because you can't get your boss to agree to dismiss a case because they're scared of what it's going to look like if you dismiss too many cases, then the right thing doesn't happen. Not to mention, they make them jump through. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have good reasons to dismiss a case. Okay, don't get me wrong. You shouldn't just be doing it for no reason at all. But when you have to jump through so many needless tasks to get the right outcome, you're going to say, you know what? I don't have time to do this. I need to focus on this trial case. Just set that for trial. It's easier to set it for trial, and that way you can say, sorry, the judge called us to trial and we didn't have what we needed, and so now we can dismiss, versus dismissing it early on when you know it needs to go.
Lauren Byrne, thank you for your courage.
Thank you.
We spend a lot of time.
Lauren Byrne had that last question that I asked her really hit me because you're messing with people's lives. When she says, they're within the district attorney's office, sometimes it was easier to bring a case that after looking at it contextually, you would not have prosecuted. But it was easier to spend the county's dollars to put the lives of others who are being prosecuted to affect their financial future, to affect their financial well-being, their psychological well-being, just because it's easier to prosecute than to go through the hoops to tell the district attorney, I don't think we should prosecute this case. It doesn't raise itself to the level that warrants prosecution. But then you don't have a problem laying the groundwork for false prosecutions that in the long run all go truly no billed by the grand jury. That is what we're talking about. And right after we went through that interview, I saw the competitor, the opponent of Kim Ogg, Sean Thierry, he was walking around, and I said, hey, let's have a little chat here. Like to hear your thoughts about what you're seeing here. And this is what Sean Tier, who was running against Kim Og, had to say as he watched the conference. And here we go.
Sean Terry, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Hey, look, it's great talking to you. I interviewed you a few weeks ago.
Yes.
I see you stopped by for this little rally against your opponent. What's your thoughts on what people had to say here?
I'm just an interested observer, obviously, but I love grassroots movements like this. This really just reinforces everything that we've been saying on the campaign from the beginning. This is a whole host of people who have been victimized by the failures of that office, and a group of people who have been victimized by her policies and her about face for the democratic values.
Now, you worked for her.
Absolutely.
And one of the reasons you're running against her is your feeling that she completely misrepresents the office.
Yes, that's absolutely right. She misrepresents everything about the office. She misrepresents what she ran on, the true reform and progressive ideals that we all believed in when we joined her. She misrepresents how she goes about running that office right now. The office is completely bereft of any talent left. Everyone's left.
No, let's get something clear here, because you're out here, but you had nothing. Did you have anything to do with this movement that seems to be developing organically?
Not at all. I found out about it last week from the Chronicle when they talked about the resolution at that time with 60 some odd precinct chairs. I haven't been involved at all, but again, it reinforces everything that we've been saying.
Well, you got a hell of an endorsement. Yes, so tell a little bit about it.
It was amazing. It's something that we've been talking about for a number of months. Judge Hidalgo endorsing me is one of the highlights of my professional career in any capacity. She's been somebody who is just one of the most courageous leaders that we've had on the Democratic side in decades. And for her to get behind my campaign and talk the way that she talked about this race and who she knows that I am was an honor and something that I'll remember forever.
It's not easy for somebody to come out against the district attorney. It takes a lot of courage. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And that was Sean Tier, who is actually running against Kim Og. The race seems like currently a dead heat. I actually expected in the long run for people when they see much of what's going on, for that to change drastically in the next few months up and until the primaries in March. Anyway, folks, this is a call-in show. Give us a call, 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. I did those interviews last night. It's funny because I had to get down to the 46 miles away from where I'm at, and which meant I had to cut into the time of the 3 o'clock Politics Done Right show to get to the other side of Houston. So I did Politics Done Right live from a car. I found this application that was great. It allowed me to multi-stream to several different platforms from a cell phone. So I had two cell phones, one cell phone handling the calls, another cell phone handling the setting up the chat, all of them connected. It was a little bit of magic inside of that, inside of the car. While I was driving, I was focused on the highway. And I only read the chats when I was at a stop sign or where I didn't have to have my eyes on the phone. Otherwise, I made sure and did the right thing. And I put nobody's safety in danger. I did the program like I was talking on the phone with somebody while driving. Anyhow, folks, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Please don't wait till the end of the show to call in. Give us a call at 713-526-5738. Don't know. I see some calls coming in. I don't know if I see some calls coming in. So I'm going to wait a while before I start the other subject, just to make sure that you take priority over what we have to say here. But do remember, you can get all the videos, you can get all the programming directly from our site, our newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter for what we don't cover here. Or if you want to get to listen to the videos again, or watch the videos again, or listen to the podcast, you can go to you can go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Let's go ahead and talk to Harry. Harry, come on in, my dear brother Harry.
Buenos días, hermano. Humberto Willie.
Buenos días, hermano. Talk to me.
Well, that first video you played with that woman that you interviewed, the son that died.
Yes.
I was wondering, was that woman an African American woman? She sounded like she was an African American.
Yes, she's a black woman. Yes.
And her son. How was her son killed? I was trying to understand that whole interview. I couldn't.
They came in, and I think, if I recall what she said, there were some undercover officers. But whatever the case is, I think HPD showed up, and they did a maneuver on the car that, where they flipped the car, and not flipped the car, but kind of sideswiped the car. And when her son got out of the car, the officer also got out of the car, and without waiting or seeing any real movement that her son made, simply blew his head off. They went ahead and shot him on the neck, killed him right away.
Was this a white officer or a Hispanic officer or a black officer?
I think it's a white officer, Harry. But let me just say this, and I want everybody to understand this: the police is an institution, right? Whether it's a white officer, black officer, Latino officer, Asian officer, the proclivity of the institution is to harm people that they believe the least of in this country. And you don't have to be a white officer to, let me finish. You don't have to be a white officer to look at a person of color with disdain. Black officers do it. White officers do it. Latino officers do it. Asian officers do it. You take a look at the George Floyd incident. There were Asians, black, and white officers out there, and nobody checked that report when it said this person died just of natural causes. It's the institution that needs to change. It's not a racial issue within the institution. It is the institution that needs to change. There was these 5 black officers that destroyed, killed, murdered that guy. I think it was in Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia. So I want people. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Tyreek Nichols. I think that was Tennessee where that happened.
Yeah. Okay, Tennessee. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then they said on Democracy Now! Last week, because I've been following this for a few years. You know about what happened in Oklahoma with Elijah McClain when those 3 white officers, one of them, and then they brought in, they called the medical people in, and they injected him with a ketamine. Well, 2 of the white officers, according to Amy Goodman, have been acquitted.
Right.
And
I mean, it's a constant. The only thing about it is that it's interesting is whenever it is a black officer that commits the heinous crime, generally they pay. The white officers too often get off. I mean, it's a thing that it's just a thing that we have to work on. But Harry, my phones are filling up. I appreciate your call. I want to jump to somebody.
It's the culture. What you're saying? It's the culture. Okay,
yes, sir.
We'll talk. Yeah, the culture, that's got to change. We'll talk some more later, brother. Have a good day.
Thank you, brother. You too. Let's go to Emmanuel. I think Emmanuel is the new caller. Come on in, Emmanuel.
Hey, good morning, mi hermano. How are you?
I'm doing fine, hermano. Talk to me.
Okay. That's a very good topic. But I would like you to please look at the good side of the police, men and women. that put their life on the line every day to protect and serve. Because we have some few bad apples, like in any other company or corporation or department of the state or local or federal. We have some few bad apples. I understand that. But we also must look at what the good thing we do. Because we go all the time.
Emmanuel, I am with you.
Life and the life.
Emmanuel, let me ask two questions. First of all, ¿eres panameño?
Sí, yo soy panameño.
Okay, thank you, my brother. And one other thing I want to ask you, are you a police officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm so thankful that you called in. I revere what you do and what you're supposed to do, and I revere that you, Emmanuel, eres una policía muy buena, muy buen. Okay, I agree with that. All right, let's get that out of the way. But let me tell you what my problem is, Emmanuel. You as a police officer, you know the bad apples that surround you. I'm not asking you that. I'm telling you that. You know those bad apples when you go into that locker room at your police station. You can look at those particular officers that are bad. You know who they are. And like I said, you're a good officer. And I understand because of your livelihood, etc., you may not be able to actively shake that bad officer up. But there's a large percentage of bad officers. Don't say bad apples. There are several bad apples out there because black folks, y tú eres un negro como yo, black folks have encountered them. In fact, if you are not in your police officer uniform as a black Latino Caribeño, I can guarantee you my brother in the studio, Jack, will be treated much better than you are just because of your hue. So I revere you. I respect you as a good police officer that we need, but we need many of your ilk to also make sure that those bad thugs, like the ones who kill people who look like many of us, and sometimes even kill some of my brothers like Jack, or get the hell out of there. Don't you agree, sir?
Yes, I do agree. Remember, things are changing. We are cleaning up the department.
Yes.
I work at the federal level.
Yes.
And we are cleaning up those areas that need cleaning up to remove all those rotten apples from the tree. We're doing that. And we're going to continue doing that.
Yes, sir.
Because we believe that everyone should be safe. It doesn't matter the color of your skin.
Yes.
Soy caribeño. Sí, yo soy panameño, soy negro. Sí.
Yes.
A mí me han parado. I've got to stop.
Yes.
Because of profile.
Yes, sir.
And when they realize who I am, they're like, oh, no, he's, whoa. Okay, fine.
Right.
But we are doing great job out here, mi hermano. Great job.
And I commend you, sir. Sir.
People.
Mi hermano pana.
Yes.
I commend you, sir. You have my commend. I commend you. But let's remember what we just agreed on as well, sir. But thank you for what you're doing. Okay.
Take care. Thanks.
I appreciate you. Thank you, brother. All right, let's go to brother Donald. Come on in, Donald.
Barto, how are you today?
I am doing fine, sir. Talk to me.
Okay, it's some of the officers, they're doing good jobs. I'll agree.
Yes.
But there's also bad, but they're desensitized. There needs to be a training process in there to cross-train the people to deal with different types of people and not get them desensitized. Because remember, it is to protect and serve. And in the legal system, it is the pursuit of justice. And that's it.
Yes. Thank you, my brother Donald. You always have something smart to say. Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Let's go to Brother Bard. Come on in, Bard.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. Just a curious outside observer here. Notice that you Democrats and socialists are going after other Democrats so far in advance of the election. Like, I think it's at least a year out. So it's very fascinating behavior, which leads me to believe that something nefarious is going on behind the scenes with this Lena Hidalgo and Rodney Ellis and
okay,
investigation. I haven't seen Democrats this mad since the Republicans freed the slaves.
Oh my God. It's funny. You know what? I love that you said that. The Republicans freed the slaves. And you are so right. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, and many of the abolitionists were Republicans. And you know what? You know what the Democrats did? The Dixiecrats turned into Republicans, and the liberal Republicans turned into Democrats. That's the part of the story. Every person listening to what my good brother Bard was trying to implicate there or imply there, I just wanted to make sure the record was corrected. Remember that we had a switcheroo of loyalists to the different parties. So that's what happened. Dixiecrats got mad. Okay, and they left they left the party. So let's remember what happens. Okay, so but now that you said that, Bart, there's no collusion here. What happens is, I think whenever a Democrat forgets their values of what being a Democrat or a progressive means, they will pay the price of not getting the support of the base. That's all you're seeing. You're seeing honesty. You're seeing activism in action, and that's all there is. There's no magic. There's nothing nefarious behind the scene at all. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell people that, my dear brother Bard. Okay?
All right. Well,
have a great one. Take care, brother. Peace. Peace, brother. Let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Yeah, good morning. I want to talk about the illegal immigrants that have overrun the population of the United States.
Okay.
So, a couple of years ago, 50 of them were flown to Martha's Vineyard.
Yes.
And they stayed there for 18 hours, and they were shipped out to a military base.
Okay.
Okay. I can't go on a military base until I get a clearance.
Okay.
That same military base had people kicked out because they refused a COVID test.
Okay.
The population of Martha's Vineyards is 40,000. You telling me that they cannot consume 50 illegal aliens?
Okay. Let me just say, all right, Brian, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to answer you on the other side. So thank you very much, Brian. But let me just answer Brian. Brian,
that's unfair. That's unfair.
Yeah,
that's unfair.
No. What's unfair? All right, let me go. I got to go to Alistair, but let me answer Brian as you go to Alistair. Please go to Alistair. Brian, here's what happened. That story that you just told is what's in the right-wing media. The reality is very different. I think we lost the call. Come back. Give us a call back if you got thrown off by mistake. Let's go to Alistair. So let's just make sure to tell you this. The reason I didn't let you go ahead and let you just keep going on that particular issue is that it's pretty much a lie. It's a right-wing lie. When these people got into Martha's Vineyard, they were treated so well, and they speak about it, and they continue to speak about it. And so the story that you try to make up about it didn't happen. That small community came through for those 50 people that you guys try to make into a human failure story. Go ahead, Alistair. Talk to me, my dear sister.
Hey, good morning, Egberto. I just wanted to ask, since when is cleaning house nefarious, according to Brother Bart? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you very much, Alistair. Alistair, you are wonderful as usual. Thank you. Let me go to Spike. Come on in, Spike.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Hear me? Right. Okay. the caller a couple of calls ago talking about when the Republicans freed the slaves. I just want to let them to know that they did not free the slaves. Even Lincoln was a Republican then. He did not free the slaves. He emancipated the slaves, took them away from individuals and gave them to the state. So that's where black people are totally confused, thinking that slaves were freed. They were emancipated.
Now, let me the way you put it, I have to kind of go read on that, Brother Spike. But let me just say one thing. What he was trying to allude to is that Republicans. Go ahead.
I understood what he was saying. I understood what he was saying. And then the way he was sarcastic with how, like when they freed the slaves. So I know what kind of person that is. And that's the same thing with talking about this country as a democracy. This is a republic. This is not a democracy.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right about the democracy thing.
They were created as a slave patrol, and that goes on right today.
Yes.
So they give you the illusion that this is a democracy when it's not. And we believe that. We believe we elect the president when we don't. It's an illusion. That's the easiest control.
Spike, I'm at a hard end. Spike, I'm at a hard end. I do appreciate your call. Please try to call a bit earlier the next time, but thank you so kindly for calling in, my brother. Hey, let me jump to our studio for Jack to have a last word before we close this baby down.
Well, Nancy, Trump said he would get rid of the Marxists, the communists, the socialists, and the fascists. Good. We don't have to worry about the fascist Trump. He's going to get rid of himself, Nancy.
Thank you very much, Jack, for being in that studio all by your lonesome, getting us on this 100,000 watt transmitter. Thank you, audience, for your ears. Thank you, callers, all of you, for giving your point of view. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!